Hello there everybody, Sam's Trains here and welcome back to the railway once again, and welcome back to another hopefully exciting review, this time of a really beautiful 260 locomotive, and it's this Bachmann N-Class, which originated from the SECR when Richard Maunsell first designed them in 1914 for mixed traffic on that railway. And production of these engines actually continued for a further 17 years, and over that time 80 examples were produced, the last of which in 1934. And the one I'm going to be looking at today is one of the southern versions, and apparently the southern batch was produced in 1932, so that's the one we'll see today. Generally they were great performers apparently, and they were excellent with both freight and passenger trains, and apparently also were liked by their crews, which is of course very important. And of the 80 that were produced, sadly there is only one left, which I believe is awaiting overhaul, but sadly the rest was scrapped, which is of course a shame. But today let's get this lovely Bachmann model looked at. As you can see, it's in the slightly older packaging, but I think you will be really impressed by just how much detail this model has, and it's really perfect for the modern collector as well as, you know, the casual enthusiast like I am. But let's have a look at the box. As you can see on the front here, you've got this lovely photograph of the loco as well as this blue ribbon badge, which again I'm still not sure what it's all about, but I'm sure I'll find out one day. As you can see, the picture on the front there is of a BR Black version, but as I said, the one we're going to look at today was in fact a southern one, so hopefully you can see that. It's a little bit glary with the lights on, I'm afraid, but you'll see it better later on. Let's take a quick look at the end of the box. First of all, you've got the product code, which is 32-153. N-Class 1824, which I believe is the running number, and lined southern green, which is of course the livery that this one's in. Very quickly, I'll just show you the end of the box, and there's nothing on the back there in terms of information. You've just got a few warning messages about not suitable for children and whatnot. So yeah, that's all that is. Let's take this out of the box then and see what we've got. There we go. Slide this out. It does take a bit of coaxing to get this one out of the box, weirdly. I don't know how much force you have to apply. Goodness, there we go. Alright, so first of all then, we've got this card, which you can now see a little bit better with the loco on it, and also it's got a little bit of info, the N-Class 260 locomotive. And there's the loco, by the way, very nice. I'll get that out in a second. But first in here we've got a little bit of paperwork. I'll just show you that very briefly. First of all, we've got the guarantee, and I think somebody's filled this one in, look. And quite interestingly, you can see the date there, 1998. So when you consider how old this is, it's really impressive, just the amount of detail on here. But yeah, that's the guarantee. And what's this? This looks like one of those exploded diagrams that you so often get. Yep, as you can see, all the part numbers and how it all fits together, very useful. So yep, that's that. Always nice to have one of those. And let's get on to the loco and detail then. Now the first weird thing we've got is this, again, this blue ribbon badge. So was it part of a Bachmann club that they used to do? I don't know, I don't think they still do this, but whatever it was. Or maybe it was sort of them saying this is one of our top quality models, I don't know. But still, yeah, I'm sure you could wear that if you wanted to. I don't know what it's really for. We've got a few bits of detail in here. Let's see, we've got a smaller one here with some steps on it, which are of course lined with the southern livery. I'm not sure where you put those, but I'm sure you could glue those on if you wanted to. And in the slightly bigger one, you've got some braking rods there, brake rods, and some vacuum pipes, which you could fit if you wanted to, and a couple of other little bits of detail, which you could fit. I'm sure would look very nice. But I won't do that because I'm normally not very good with that sort of thing. But still, let's take the loco out. And this isn't in quite as modern packaging as I'd like, I suppose. It's a bit awkward getting it in and out, but we will try. I'll just flip this over. It has got holes in the back, but seems to be coming out nicely. Yes. There we go. And there you go, the lovely 260, beautiful N-Class locomotive, running number 1824, as you can see. And it really is very heavy, first of all. It weighs an absolute ton, and as I was saying, for nearly 20 years old, the detail is absolutely phenomenal, and I can really recommend it to anybody, really. So let's take it up onto the white background, and I will show you everything there is to see. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so there's Bachmann's N-Class in all her glory up on the white background, and I must admit, I really do love this one. I think it's got such character, and the detail as well, especially considering the age, it's just wonderful. First of all, let's take a look at the loco and the livery. Of course, it's in this sort of olive southern green, which is so beautifully applied, as you can see. It does look very authentic, I think, but of course it's got these beautiful white stripes, double white stripes, a little bit reminiscent of LNER stripes really, but the lines go over the boiler, as you can see there, and they're also on the valve chest as well. And you can also find them in different places, like on the side of the cab, for example, which has been really nicely applied. As you can see, it's all aligned beautifully, and on the steps, as we've already experienced a little bit from that detail pack. But let's take a quick look at the printing on the side of the cab there. Of course, you've got the running number 1824, and it looks like the text above and below that says Southern Railway. Hopefully the camera will pick that up better than my eyes did. But the whole thing is really done out with a lot of separately fitted detail as well as moulded detail. First of all, you've got this very lovely handrail which goes across the whole thing. But there's also a lot of plastic parts, especially these, well, they look like pipes which go up and connect to the dome. And you've also got quite a lot of separately fitted parts which hold all the linkage together and such. And that all looks really, really detailed and intricate, and something that I don't want to touch in case I break it. And around the front you've got quite a lot of detail there. You've got the handles and such on the smoke box door. You've got the smoke deflectors too, as well as lamp irons around the front there. And while around the front, just take a look at that buffer beam. Just check out all those rivets. I can't believe just how many rivets are on that buffer beam. It looks fantastic. And of course you've also got the running number there as well. And amazingly also, for a loco of this age, you've also got sprung buffers. As you can see there, really, really cool, and that's a great feature, of course. And let's just take a look at some more of the separately fitted parts. Of course, you've got a really nice looking whistle there, which is surrounded by a sort of separately fitted plastic moulding too. And you've also got the safety valves, which are super tiny on this one, really, really small. But they're also separately fitted too, of course. And the whole model is really covered with rivets, as you can see around the main sort of frame of the loco. The whole thing is covered with moulded detail. The smoke box too has loads and loads of rivets on it, and especially on the top of the cab as well, there's an awful lot of rivets. Let's take a quick look inside the cab. Now, this is one of the few drawbacks. There is a lot of cab detail in there, but sadly it isn't painted, which is a bit of a shame. But again, it just wasn't done in the 1990s. It's, you know, a relatively new thing, and that's really the only thing that makes this loco show its age. So still on the subject of the cab, we have got glazed windows, which is wonderful, but they're just front facing, so you really have to be at the front of the loco to see that. But generally the loco is super detailed, as I hope you can see. Fantastically done really by Bachmann. The tender is also similarly nice, and it reminds me a little bit of the Drummond 700 class tender, because it's got this beautiful white lining around it, especially around the undercarriage, as you can see. And also the Southern 1824 has been really nicely applied in massive lettering on the side there. If we take a quick look at the coal, you can see it is quite finely detailed. It's a bit strange, I think, that coal. It does look a bit weird, but it still looks pretty realistic, which is fine. And if we take a quick look around the back, you can also see a very heavily detailed rear of the tender there, with separately fitted lamp irons, hooks there, as you can see, which are a different colour. And you've also got a similar buffer beam, which does still have the sprung buffers. And you've even got NEM couplings on this one, as you can see, on the front and the back. But generally, it's a really beautiful loco. I really, really like this one. It's stunningly detailed. I've tried not to linger too long on talking about the detail, because I want to get her running as soon as possible. So let's do that now then. Let's let her have a good run on the layout. I'm not sure whether she'll have coaches or freight yet, but all will be revealed pretty soon. So yeah, let's get on to that now. Okay, so there she is then, the beautiful Southern N-Class on the line, looking absolutely fantastic. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a performance test before I couple up to any coaches or anything, but I will just show you quickly. She'll couple up to a few passenger coaches, just 5 Southern coaches there, and hopefully she'll look good with those. But first I thought I would just run her on her own for a little while, just so that you can see what she looks like by herself. So a little bit of slow speed performance then, let's give this a try. Don't know which direction she's setting. There we go, that's forwards. As you can see, she does sort of jump into life at quite a high speed compared with some of them. I'm turning the controller up really slowly, and she just starts again a little bit better backwards, but as you can see, not great at slow speed. She really won't do those super slow speeds, but really once she gets up to speed, she's not bad. So I'll give her a little bit of juice like that. I'll let her run by herself. As you can see, this is quite a slow speed. It's not terribly smooth, but it's certainly not bad, and it's definitely acceptable. There she goes. As you can see, she's got some real character to her. And now that she's been running a second or two, she certainly seems a bit smoother, which is definitely good news. There she goes. And I've thrown her into reverse now at a little bit more speed, just so that she can go and pick up those coaches for us. We'll see how she gets on with that. There we go, steadily does it again. And there she goes. She's got the coaches, I think. And of course, 5 coaches should be no problem for her at all, because she weighs an absolute ton. So I'll get her going in a second. On the other line, I've got the Merchant Navy running, which is a big Southern Pacific, of course. And she's going to be pulling the tanker wagons. I don't know how many there are, 3, 6, 9. 9 tanker wagons and 1 cement wagon and a brake van. So hopefully that'll look good. But first of all, let's get the N-Class up and running, shall we? Here we go. I'll try and do it nice and gently to start with. There we go. A little bit easier with some load on her, because she'll wheel slip a little bit, so it gives her a bit of smoothness. But as you can see, no problem there pulling those. Okay, and I'll get that Hornby Merchant Navy up and running as well then, so she will do a really good smooth start, or if she didn't, here we go, I'll do it again. There we go. That was my fault the first time, I was a bit jerky on the controller. Yeah, but there she goes, pulling her various wagons. She's got to go to careful speed so as not to derail them all, but I think that looks alright. And I've got the N-Class going at a nice gentle speed. I don't want to push her too much, because I think she looks a bit nicer going at a gentle speed. So, yeah, there she goes with all those coaches. And the Merchant Navy going a little bit quicker, but still pretty gently there. Looking lovely. So here's the rating anyway then for the lovely Bachmann N-Class. First of all, detail 8 out of 10. Despite being, getting on for 20 years old, she still really does match the detail of modern locos, which is absolutely fantastic. Performance 7 out of 10. She's not quite as smooth as modern locos. She probably could be a little bit better at slow speeds, and also the connection between the tender and loco is a little bit bizarre. It's a little bit like an alien's designed it, and it does cause the occasional derailment. But other than that, performance is pretty good, so 7 out of 10 there. Character 9 out of 10. The N-Class does have fantastic character. It's a really beautiful loco, and I hope you'll agree with that as well. It really is great. And as always, the build quality with Bachmann stuff is fantastic. This one survived all this time without a single breakage, so 10 out of 10. Value, I got this for £60, which is not bad, I suppose, when you consider how much a modern loco costs. But for a used model, I perhaps would have liked to have paid a little bit less, but having said that, 7 out of 10. £60 certainly wasn't too bad. So overall, 7 out of 10. It's very, very nearly an 8 out of 10. Just the performance slightly lets it down, and of course I did pay quite a bit for it, with it being a used model. But still, not bad at all, 7 out of 10. A really lovely loco, and I can highly, highly recommend it. Yep. I like getting these tankers out actually. I haven't done it for a long time, so yep, nice thing to do that every now and again. Well, that's just about it for today then, everybody. Thank you all for joining me once again, as always. If you did enjoy the video, please feel free to leave a like or even a comment, because it is great to get feedback from you all. But also you can check out the Facebook or Twitter pages at facebook.com/samstrains or twitter.com/samstrains. It would be lovely to see you on there. But for now, everybody, thank you all for watching once again, and I'll see you all very soon. Cheers, everybody.